Welcome back, Yellow Army, to another edition of Inside Plainmoor. And as you can see, I'm joined by the man of the moment, United manager Gary Johnson. How you doing, Gaffer?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Nice to see you.
Now, of course, it's been a fantastic week for everybody at Plainmoor. Of course, we've got no game this weekend, but that does give us time to reflect on two excellent results during the course of the last 7 days, both gained in slightly different circumstances. Obviously coming from behind to beat Weymouth at Plainmoor, and then, of course, the victory in the Real Cup final away at Sutton. You must be very proud of all your players.
Yeah, I'm very proud of recent results. I mean, yesterday's performance, or the performance against Sutton, was a very, very good one, and it needed to be, because they were a good side, and they've been proving that for the whole season. Some games previous were a little bit too close for my liking, but the lads came through with flying colours to get the results, and 4 wins on the trot and 6 wins out of 7 is not a bad return at this stage of the season, the business end, if you like. But you know, we're not getting carried away. We've got to make sure that we keep professional. We keep doing everything right. We don't get carried away with ourselves, because the one thing people would have realised is you only get to those sort of stats by working hard and having a group of lads that are all of the same thoughts of winning football matches, doing well for themselves, but doing well for their teammates and their football club. And I think that's vital, that at this stage, people are playing for their football club, not just for themselves. But to play with the football club, you've got to do well as an individual and do well as a team. And I think we've got that creates a great team spirit, which is what we've got at this moment in time.
Now, Gaffer, the last time we spoke, you certainly didn't shy away from it. We were taking questions from supporters, and the team was going through a little bit of a dip and, a bit of a difficult period. You'd spoken beforehand, though, that, icebergs, as you call them, will come about. It's nothing new. You've been here before, and this is obviously where this is all coming to benefit. But is it more about not trying to avoid these icebergs, because they will come about, but it's how you deal with those situations?
Well, it is. And one is you have to deal with them as they pop up unexpectedly. And other times you have to understand that, try not to bump into one. You might see one on the horizon and have to manoeuvre around it. And that happens as well. And then, as I say, that one just pops up in front of you sometimes, and you do have to deal with it. And that's what happens. And, that's been no different any year of my managership. There's always been things that you have to deal with immediately, and things you can deal with before they happen, if you sort of like expect that they might happen. So it's we've all been dealing with these little icebergs as we go. Some the public get to know about, and some they don't.
Now, you described, obviously, it's been described by everybody, to be honest. Tuesday night's game at Sutton, it was billed as the Real Cup final in the National League. Clearly, the players were all up for it and treated it as that. But of course, unlike a true Cup final, where that is the end goal, there's another 9 of them to go, isn't there, Gaffer? So how do you refocus the players' minds? Of course, nothing has been won yet. There's still a little way to go.
Well, that's what we've said, to focus their minds. They know that we got another 9 cup finals to go, but to earn the right to play in the last few cup finals, the last 2 games were so important to us, because we needed to get on the same points as Sutton. We knew that Weymouth were a decent team, and so I tried to treat that as a semi-final. And it's like everything. I did say to the lads that every game now, I'm looking at you to see whether you can handle the pressure in case we end up, obviously, with 2 games to go or 3 games to go. I need the ones that can take that pressure of nearly being there. Or if you get into the playoffs, if we have to go through that way, I need to know the lads that are going to cope with that pressure as well. So if you want to be in the team for the last few games of the season, or in the playoffs, what might end up with a Wembley a Wembley performance, a Wembley visit, then you need to show me your character now and your mentality towards important games. Can you bring your game out in the big games?
Now, Gaffer, we've mentioned this before in the interviews we've done, but after the Dagenham game that you mentioned just then, we went down to a late defeat, despite dominating for large periods. We travelled to Sutton by 10 points. And again, nothing's been won yet, but you were very keen afterwards to stress that nothing's been won or lost yet, still everything to play for. But are even you surprised, at the progress that your players have done and the way the gap has come down so quickly during that time, that we were talking about just about 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because, you have to keep working. I think at the time we said that you have to keep believing in what you're doing. The players have to believe in what they're doing, what their teammates are doing, and what the tactics are and the philosophy for these games are. We know we've got the players, and given when they're all fully fit individually, because some we've had to bring into games, like Armani, for instance, like Danny Wright, like Moxie, and other people have been injured as well, like Jake was injured for some time and Asa was injured for some time. You have to nurture these players back in to the fray. And what we seem to have now is that we haven't got too many of them now. We've got quite a few that are now played enough 90 minutes that they're 90 minutes ready. And I just think that we've still got to manage the team, and people that are just coming back, i.e. like Carl Cameron, Dean Moxie came in and did his first 85 minutes. Hopefully we'll have Ben Whitfield pretty soon. So we have to look at that. But the team has suddenly got fitter, stronger, and of course get a couple of wins, and you get that feeling that you're in credit and you can keep going. And although they know the pressure's on, because you're in credit, you can relax a little bit more. And I've asked them to relax, but in a competitive sort of way. And as long as we put the work rate in, our ability will come out, and our ability has come out on a few occasions recently.
I just want to single out any particular players during this period, because they, certainly on Tuesday night, they all put in a manful performance. But I'm going to go against that, so apologies in advance. But just thought a special mention in recent weeks to go out to the partnership that's been built up between Sam Sherring and Joe Lewis. It's not, of course, all about the back line when you keep clean sheets, but 2 goals conceded in 7 games is a fantastic record, isn't it?
It's a great record, and the pair of them have defended very well and ahead of their years, really. I mean, one's 20, one's 21 or whatever it is, so they're still young lads. But what they've got is not just a concentration, but they've got that belief in each other. They've also got that bravery. They've got ability, of course. They've both been at, one at Bournemouth, one at Swansea. So they've got that ability, but they're now bringing out that competitiveness that centre halves need. And they've been winning so many headers against opposition, big centre forwards, and it's that, we call it mothering the goal, don't we? You've got to make sure that your mum, if she's sitting in the back of the goal, that she doesn't get hit with a ball, which means obviously you're blocking shots and you're throwing yourself in front of things. And both of them are doing that. And as I said before, they must love their mums very, very much, because that's exactly what they've been doing. But we mustn't forget the people around them. It's not just the 2 centre halves that have to defend. We defend from the front, and we try and make sure that from our front to our goalkeeper, everybody's part of, when we haven't got the ball, stopping a goal, getting the ball back, and then everybody's got to be a part of, once you've won the ball back, showing that intent to score a goal, and ideally the intent to win the game. And that's what we've been showing, and I think it all came together, especially at Sutton, because it needed to. It absolutely needed to, because they are, if not the second best, the third best, first best, whatever they are, but they're certainly in the top three of the teams in this division. So that was a proper game, and it was a very close to a proper second division game, which is good that we handled it, coped with it, and were worthy winners. So, but they're a good team as well. So as we say, they're not out of it, and there's probably 10 teams, maybe 12, that are still believing that they can get promoted.
Of course, the recent return of Carl Cameron, Dean Moxey have also boosted that end of the field. But also another player that has performed so well recently is Ryan Law. Can you tell us what the latest news is on him?
Yeah, I can. It's I spoke to Ryan Lowe, the Plymouth manager, and he's been very pleased. I mean, I knew from the start when we asked about him, he said, I'll let him come for a month. We'll see how it goes, and then if I need him back, I'll call him back. But at least he's got you out of a situation where we didn't really have a left back. Or if I don't bring him back, then obviously you can have him for another month. But I think Ryan's in a situation now where he needs him back. I think he's going to try and give him some games in the first team to see how he goes. I'm pleased to have helped both Ryans, Ryan Law and Ryan Lowe, as far as that, they both think he could be ready for a start, which is fantastic. So we've done our job. He's done our job for us. I did ask to keep him. We'd love to have kept him, but obviously it's their prerogative to call him back. And we're pleased for Ryan Lowe and Ryan Law, because it's worked out well. We've got Moxey back now. Hopefully, touch wood, he stays fit. He certainly looked fit against a very strong right winger in Adjiboye for Sutton, and he can terrorise most teams. And we've also got Carl Cameron that you're looking to get on the pitch anywhere you can, for the simple reason that he's a good athlete, he's a good footballer, he's a presence. I played him left wing for the first 10 minutes, and when we get a bit of time, I'll explain why I've done that. There was a tactical thing in that, and it came off for us. And then when Mox had to come off last 5 minutes, I could then he was already warmed up to go into left back. So to see the game out, which was perfect. So it was absolutely worked great for us. So we got two players that I'm happy can play there. Joe can play there. So we're not short, but we wish Ryan Lawsy all the very best, and pleased that we could be of assistance to him.
Absolutely, Gaffer. Dare I say it? Sounds like you've got competition for places there at the moment.
We've got good competition for places. The subs are desperate to be playing. There's people that are outside of the subs bench. If we get, Ben Whitfield back soon, that's more competition. So it's nice. It's always nice, and it really is, to be in a position where you're winning games, so you don't necessarily have to change the team, but you've got, subs that you can bring on. You have to deal with the people that are not even on the bench, because they are disappointed. They want to be involved, but to have a good squad keeps everybody on their toes, and I've always said that. And people that are in the team that are looking at the types of players that are coming back into the fray, they want to keep their place. So to keep your place, you've got to perform, and the team's got to be winning games. So that's exactly what I've always said. You've got to have that competition. I don't mind the headache. I've had it all my managerial career, but in the end, I don't worry about it, because I do everything for the right reasons. And I explain to all the other boys that are not playing why they're sub or why they're not in the group. Keep going, because anything could happen, and you could be back in the team, but you got to be mentally ready at that point. So if you spat your dummy out and you think you're not a part of it, and all of a sudden I'll give you a chance and you blow it, you won't get another chance. So everybody's got to keep competitive mentally and physically.
And of course, the match winner on Tuesday night, Asa Hall, he is, of course, your captain, always leads by example. However, this season, he's also leading the way in the scoring charts at the moment. Is that something you identified in his game in the pre-season?
Well, don't forget, I was with Asa at Cheltenham as well, so we know he's got that sort of goal-scoring prowess, especially in the air. He attacks the ball well. He's very brave. When his ponytail don't get in his eyes, he can get good contact. He'll come in with a skinhead tomorrow. He can get good contact on the ball and he times it well. He's a quality player, Asa, and he's a great captain. The boys respect him. As you say, he leads by example. We did have a little chat a few weeks ago that I did want to see him arrive in the box late and fast more often, because he is a good finisher. And I think that's helped him. But we've had to talk to the other midfielder yesterday, or last couple of games, it's been Armani, that they both can't go together in case it breaks down. And then we're short on the break. So Armani's done quite well with him, so that when Asa goes, Marnes sits in, and when Marnes goes, Asa sits in. So that's quite a good little partnership they've got going at this minute. There's lots of good partnerships all over you mentioned Joe and Shez, and obviously the last couple of games, Connor and Wrighty have been brilliant. A right wing, a right back, a left wing, a left back. You know what I mean? They're all getting an understanding of each other at the moment. So hopefully it will continue.
So of course, now looking ahead, Tuesday sees us, it feels like yet again, travelling up to Woking. And now that's often described as a cup final, where there's always a really competitive atmosphere when the two sides play. Even though Woking, looking on the face of it, looking at the league table, don't appear to have a huge amount to play for, that could also work in their favour, and already has done. We've been playing similar teams, hasn't it, Gaffer?
It has, yeah. Well, when we played Kings Lynn, we played Weymouth, they didn't look bottom of the league teams. Now, maybe that was a little bit of us not playing great for the whole 90 minutes. However, there is an opposition against you, and they are trying to muck your day up. If there's no pressure on them as far as relegation is concerned, then you're right. They can, relax, play, no pressure, and players at our level, National League level, many of them that have played in the league, they can, if they're relaxed with no pressure, they can pull out a good game. And so we have to be doubly ready for that. I mean, Barnet have got new ownerships now, so we'll have to see how they go. Dover have obviously gone, and I think Barnet might start, creeping in there with a couple of results now. They know, obviously, new regime. So they're not easy 3 points now. There's no easy 3 points, as all of our teams have found out, because every week you look at a result and go, how's that happen? But a lot of it is because there's no pressure on the bottom teams at the minute, but there's certainly a lot of pressure on the top teams.
It all adds up to what has been a bizarre season, hasn't it, Gaff? I don't think there'll ever be a season that's been quite like this one, with so many different scenarios, is there?
No, it's been unbelievable. And the sad part is, it's if we'd have had the crowds from early on, of course I know we couldn't, and it was, we got to keep everybody safe and all that sort of thing. We understand how important that was, but what a shame that it's been such a successful season that the crowd hasn't been, there live to see it, and we would have had, many supporters going to these away games. And how many would we have taken to Sutton, when we played them? How many would we have taken to Woking? How many will we take to Stockport and Chesterfield? You know what I mean? So it's been a real shame, but we've had to do our job. We know the streaming's there, so we're aware of people watching us. I think we even had Charlie Baker there screaming and shouting at Sutton, and so we had one supporter that sneaked in somehow, but he was obviously doing some form of media stuff. But I just know that, if we had 5,000-6,000 Charlie Bakers, then an atmosphere that would be. What you know, the first time supporters will be allowed in, and I don't even know whether that's going to be, you know, reduced crowd, will be the Barnet game. But wouldn't it be great if we, you know, if we had to win that game, the only game that our supporters can see at home, that's not the game that we get ourselves promoted. That'd be nice. That'd be great. That's the one thought I've got in my head. So we need to stay in the race, because I'd love to get to that day where we've got our supporters in the stadium.
Well, it's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. So I'm sure it is doing very much the same to the Yellow Army watching on, and we do appreciate all your support, Yellow Army. We know you can't be there and play more in person at the moment, but watching through the stream and all the messages we get, it very much does mean a lot to all of us, doesn't it, Gary?
It does, absolutely, it does. And you know, we don't bump into them because you've got to keep 2 meters away. When I'm walking, you know, down the Torbay, in the Torbay area around there, you know, you often bump into people, or people toot their horns, you know, so you know they're out there, you know they're still supporting you, and obviously Twitter and the fans forum, etc. So you know, you want to do it for them, because you know this season's, you know, been sad for them, but they may have got used to now watching it on the streaming. Some of the away teams streaming has not been the best, but it's there and they're seeing it live. So hopefully they're celebrating in their living rooms, as we knew they would have to, and we'll see them soon. And that's all we can say. It looks like we're seeing the worst out of the COVID. We're not quite out of it yet, but it's looking a bit more promising, certainly for the May the 17th date, and for next season. So, you know, let's hope we can see all our fans for the whole season, next season, whatever league we're in.
Absolutely. Now, we have got a few, as we always try and do, when we get any messages from the Yellow Army, we do try and incorporate them in these sessions. First of all, we can just give a special mention to Tom Burstow. Tom's 11 years old, from Plymouth. He's a massive Torquay United fan, and along with his dad, Richard Gaffer, he sponsors goalkeeper Lucas Kovalan. Now, recently, he sent a collection of boots and other football equipment that he no longer uses and has grown out of to assist an academy over in Kenya. So you may find that you've got some more Torquay United fans over in Kenya, Gaffer. But just thought you might want to echo that and say well done to Tom for that kind effort. Yeah,
well done. I mean, that's very very nice of him to do that, and it's good that Lucas has got involved. You know, did they get the streaming in Kenya? I don't know whether our pipes go that far, do they? But anyway, it's nice, because any good publicity is nice for the club, and we have got a club that, you know, is happy to do those sort of things as and when it comes off, many of which people don't get to hear about, you know. So that's great that Tom has highlighted it for us, and it's all gone well.
Well done to you, Tom. Well, that brings us to the end of another week's discussion, Gaffer. Goes without saying to wish you the very best of luck on Tuesday at Woking, and of course over the course of the next 6 weeks. And until then, Yellow Army, take care, keep safe, and we'll speak to you all again very, very soon.
See you soon.